there is one kind of desires which will make your mind go wild in fruitless search of things which aren't going to stay long, but yet the desires to have the sensual titillations and to be part of that community where everyone is talking about nonsense. Isn't it a nonsense? I will explain you how. If you go to a mall to buy, say, a blender, and you ask what is the cost, and the person says it's just for $50, whereas all the other companies are selling it for more than $100, but this one is for $50, and it works good. The customer asks the question, would it work properly as per the other branded blenders? The sales agent said, well, there is no guarantee. It may not work even for one day, but I'm selling it cheap, buy it. This blender is cheap, buy it, but there is no guarantee whether it will work even for 1 hour. And it may not. Even puree of a banana, maybe even the banana will sit in this blender like a stone, but still it is cheap, buy it. Would you buy it? You are not stupid. Are you? You're not. You think so. See, that's the whole problem is, when it comes to world and worldly objects and worldly things, you are very smart. Very smart. You know where to get cheap bargains, you know where to get cheap flight, air tickets, you know where to buy cheap groceries. You're very smart. You know how to save money. You know how to borrow from one bank and spend money, and to pay the bill, you buy it from another bank, and you pay off your credit card bills to this bank number 1, and when there is a loan standing in the bank number 2, then you go to the bank number 3. Very smart. So you keep on spending. But when it comes to the question of your own life, you behave foolishly. Behave very childishly. You have no guarantee for your life, for your body. You have no guarantee for your children or for your husband's life or for your wife's life or for your children's life. And yet you have plans for next 50 years for them. I am reminded of a Sufi fakir named Sutra Shah. Someone came to see him in his house, and he was cooking food for him as he was not living with his family. He was alone in these quarters. His friend was very surprised to see the way he was cooking his food. He asked him, would you eat? He said, no, I just had my lunch. I've just come to check upon you. So you go ahead and eat. So Sutra Shah would make one roti, one chapati for himself and put it directly to the plate and eat it. And once he has consumed the one chapati, then he was rolling his second chapati. Friend was watching, what is he doing? He ate his second chapati. He was still hungry, so he went back to the gas and started making the third chapati. Friend said, what a nonsense. Why can't you make 3 or 4 roti together and eat your breads in one go? Why do you have to do this? Are you this hungry? Sutra said, well, I am not that hungry. I am a fakir. I am never hungry. But I have to fill up this stomach. So I have to eat bread. So I make one bread and eat. I'm alive, I make second. I'm still alive, I make third. And my dear friend, if I make all the 3 rotis together, who knows, by the time I end making my third roti, my breath is gone, I am dead. Who will eat that food then? It has happened to many people. They were just about to go for their dinner, they took their shower, they were about to sit to eat their meals, and plop, gone, heart failed. Sutrisha said, I don't take any risk. Life is short. Life is actually just a moment. One moment, if breath goes in, if the prana is in, you are alive. And one breath, if it doesn't go in, you are a dead man. In Urdu language, human being is called Adami. Dam means breath. One breath is in, you are an Adami, human being. One breath gone, you are a dead man. That's what the duration of your life is. That is one breath. If after exhalation the another breath doesn't go in, you are not alive. Although, as long as prana is in the body, and if you have mastered your pranayam, then you can remain without the breath in the kumbhak pranayam for hours or weeks or months. That's what the scripture says. But that yogi, that practitioner is not now a common man. And I'm not talking about yogis, I'm talking about a common man. See, without food, your body can survive for 3 months. There is enough fat stored in our body that even if you don't eat any food, your body has enough fat and it can begin to eat that fat. 3 months, you can survive. If you're not that skinny and thin like a model, they won't survive maybe 10 days. They would just drop dead. I'm not talking about abnormal people. I'm talking about normal people. You can survive without water for almost 10 to 15 days. No water, you won't die. But you cannot live without breath for more than 6 to 8 minutes. The average is 6 to 8 minutes. If in between 6 to 8 minutes, the oxygen supply is cut off to the brain, you're dead. A moment life is there, a moment life is not there. How fragile your life is. And yet you have planned for next 50 years. I just heard about a woman who is, I think so, in her early 60s. And she has remarried. She took a divorce from her husband. She was having trouble with him. And now she has remarried. I said, well, good for her. She couldn't learn from once. She has to take her lessons again. She goes back into the same class again. Because if you have passed the class, you get promoted. Isn't it? If you fail, then you stay in that same class. So she is married again. I said, good for her. She is getting her lesson correctly. I've heard a man died and was now standing on the doorstep of Yamaraj, the god of death. It was a queue over there, you know. Everything is in queue. Over there it is a queue again. So you are in a queue. The person was in the queue and there was another person ahead of him. And Yamaraj asked a question. What good deeds, what bad deeds you do? I have your account in front of me, but yet I want to listen from you. He said, not much bad, not much good. I was an okay kind of a person. Yamaraj said, what about your marital status? He said, I was married once. I had children. Yamaraj gave a very sad look to him. He said, poor soul, send him to heaven. He had enough of hell in a marriage. The other person who was behind him was very happy because he had married 3 times. When Yamaraj asked him a question, what about your marital status? He very joyously, he said, married 3 times. Yamaraj gave a scornful look and said to his workers, thrust him to the 7th hell. This fool couldn't learn 3 times. Send him now to the 7th hell. People don't learn. Why? Because they have ichcha, the desire in them. And this desire makes them go crazy. And this desire makes them wander in this world. And they move from one relationship to another, to another, to another, to another, exploring. They call it, we are exploring. Well, good for you. Keep on exploring. No harm, but life is short. But who understands the logic of the life? Because you are living your life so illogically, you cannot understand my very simple logic. Beautiful saying of Jesus. He says, seek God first and everything comes thereafter. You're not a donkey or a bird or a horse or a cow or a buffalo. You're a human being. You have an opportunity to make a right choice. You have brains. Make use of it.